Camshaft score part 2. I apologize. I got a little out of wind and got a little sidetracked, kicked my tripod and all kinds of good stuff there for a second. But I basically wanted to say that I was able to track down a grind that I thought fit my engine build, what my will have cylinder head flow and exhaust sound characteristics that I'm shooting for this at 4.8 LS build. Instead of paying $350 to $400 for a cam, I was able to track this cam down at Star Performance for $258. Now, yes, $258 is still a substantial investment, but I think that it's more than fair, especially when you're considering you could easily spend $100 or more on a Trick Flow or one of those other companies that are selling this exact same grind, just reboxing it in a different name box. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about my camshaft score because I think it's going to run good for what I'm trying to do and sound awesome. I mean, it's not going to sound like a drag race car by any means, but it's absolutely going to give me a little bit of a lump, a little bit of sound where I can enjoy the vehicle. And then of course the mid and top range power, because this cam, I mean, you think a 220, 224 cam, generally speaking, you wouldn't think is a very big cam, but when you put it in a little short stroke 4.8 engine, this thing's going to be 6,500 RPMs peaking horsepower. I mean, you know, it's going to pull right on up there and make good power well into the RPM range, which is also going to sound good. It does have a little bit more lift than I originally wanted to run in the vehicle, but you know, $258, 575 lift, I can live with it. It's not going to be, it didn't deter me from purchasing the cam and doing the build. So anyway, more on my little Star run. They had a deal going on these, I think they call Red Horse brand transmission fitting adapters, because what I'm planning on doing is adapting my Turbo 350. Let me see if I can raise this. I keep forgetting the camera doesn't follow me where I go. But what these are the case adapters with sealing rings to adapt your outlets on your Turbo 350 and Turbo 400 core case to a -6 AN. Somebody call them, they're calling them just JIC. People like to call them just in case, but it's like a -6 AN fitting that allows you to run AN lines off your transmission case. Some people might be asking, well, why are you bothering to do that? Why don't you just hook up the metal lines like you did before, and like I've pretty much done my whole life? Well, my friend Richard, who has the Typhoon, he set up his transmission this last time with a remote transmission cooler with a little, I don't know what size it is, 6 or 8 inch cooling fan on it. And he was literally able to mount this transmission cooler right next to the transmission underneath the floorboard of his Typhoon. I got to looking at his setup the other day, and I was like, gosh, I would have done this years ago if I'd have smart. And so I got to looking at his setup, and I thought, God, that's perfect. You don't have to fight those lines up through there, nothing. You just buy those adapters for the case, find out where you want to mount your cooler, run little short, gosh, I don't think the hoses to his thing are 2 feet long or something. Basically, you got easy leak-free connections on both ends. Goes straight from their, inlet and outlet on your transmission case to your cooler with a little small fan that pulls air down. This is something I found out. Pulls air down through the cooler, and they don't want it pushing up towards the floorboard of the car. They would rather you have a dead space above the cooler so that you can draw cool air in around the top of the cooler and pull it down. So on this next rendition of the Blazer with the new motor, I'm going to go with the remote oil cooler right next to the side of the transmission underneath, in whatever convenient location I can find that's, you know, protected from road debris or stuff flying up and hitting it and doing something dumb. And then I'll just make 2 little -6 lines that go from the case to the new cooler with the cooling fan. So that's what those fittings are for. Feeling pretty good about it. So this will go there. And next move towards going LSville, because I'm gonna go with a new gas tank and everything. We played with the idea of just keeping my 1985 fuel tank in there and running a surge tank to feed the fuel injection, but I decided I didn't like that idea. So I went to Star Performance and bought a Walbro 255 electric fuel in-tank electric fuel pump. So basically the plan for the fuel system is to get a brand new gas tank, which I can get for $70, $69.99 plus tax, so a little over 70, through Advance Auto Parts, from supposed to fit a 93 Blazer or Typhoon type vehicles. Will up my fuel capacity from 12. My current gas tank is like 12 gallons. It'll up me to a 20-gallon fuel capacity. Will also give me the opening and the setup for fuel injection, because the 93 vehicles came factory with fuel injection, whereas the 85 vehicle I have came carbureted. It didn't have high pressure fuel injection on it. So I'm like, okay, get the 93 20-gallon gas tank. I will have to bite the bullet unless something pops into my lap. I have to get the carrier, like the hanger assembly for the electric fuel pump, because it does not come with the new tank. So I've got to spend, you know, $70+ on a new gas tank. So far I'm looking at about the same, close to $70 for that stupid hanger assembly, unless I can find some better deals on eBay or whatever. And then I will put in that 255-liter Walbro in-tank fuel pump, because I am a believer of in-tank electric pumps that stay cooler submerged in fuel. It makes them quieter and makes them last longer. So from that point, I'm still going to have to purchase new lines, because I'm absolutely not going to chance running 43 pounds of fuel pressure through 1985 crusty old fuel lines and rubber lines that were not designed for fuel injection in the first place. So I did have a question on one of my previous videos how I was going to set up the fuel system on the Blazer. So basically, again, I hate to reiterate it over and over, I'm going to get a 20-gallon rear mount gas tank that's set up for electronic fuel injection with the submerged in-tank pump. Run that Walbro 255. Now, if I go turbo, which I do plan on doing in the future, I will up that to a 340 or a 400 liter pump, but that's going to be easily accessible because I am adding a access panel or access door in the back of the Blazer so that I can change my fuel pump without dropping the gas tank. I repeat, I will be able to change my fuel pump without dropping the gas tank. So that's what I got at Star Performance today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the product review on some of these reveals. Got my camshaft, got my fittings for my tranny, and I got my fuel pump. So I am on my way. I am just trying to take baby steps, collect as many parts as I can to try to finish that 4.8 build, get it in the car, and at least get it running, so that in the future, possibly this winter or next spring, we might look at mounting one of them turbos on it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Hopefully some of this information is at least worth listening to. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Keep watching.